Ben Bernard is becoming an issue. From his out-of-touch takes to his extreme bias, this comedian has gone somewhat overboard in recent months. If you're not familiar with Ben, he's a YouTube comedian known for his impressions of states as people and using those various impressions in different skits. Now let me preface the rest of the video by saying that I think Ben is extremely funny on a pure impression basis, and at times he's very informative when he's doing his Blank Joins the Table series. However, this is contrasted by his news segments, which are filled with a mixed bag of content. Sometimes these segments can be extremely humorous, such as the ongoing rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma that often comes up in absurd ways.
Ain't nobody really pay attention to us down here, but the tornadoes did a lot of damage. Yeah, I mean, your tornadoes didn't do as much as mine did, but it's still tragic. I also had tornadoes. It's very kind of you to acknowledge the tragedy of tornadoes, but maybe if you were just a bit better at handling weather, might not have been so bad for you. Have you ever considered that maybe my weather is just bigger and tougher than yours?
But other times, they are out of touch and extremely biased. The prime example of this was following the Nashville shooting and the so-called Tennessee 3 being ejected from the state legislature. When he used this opportunity to paint the state legislature of Tennessee as racist and tyrannical, despite the reason that these three were ejected was because they were leading a violent mob towards the legislature building. Now, does Ben address this? Hell no. He's perfectly content painting the picture that fits his narrative and does not serve the facts at hand. Another example comes when he does his critique of the entire Republican Party in red states as a whole. Each issue he brings up in the video is delivered as being a breach of freedom without talking about any of the opposing views that these states and governors had for enacting these laws. Along with this, he, in the Tennessee 3 video called Ben Shapiro, the prominent Republican host of his show on the Daily Wire, he called him a gremlin. All of the above issues show Ben's true colors as not a moderate that he kind of claims to be, but to be more of a left-wing extremist like Philip DeFranco. This is not to say that his show or his series is the worst out there. He sometimes is preachy, especially in his comments section. However, he avoids the level of preachiness that appear on CNN or the Washington Post shorts, and he is thankfully, for his own sake, stayed more in touch than SNL or ABC. He just doesn't talk about his bias as much. He's not as clear about it as, let's say, the Daily Wire or even MSNBC. Now, with all the arguments and counter-arguments I presented, you might be wondering, why'd you make this video? I'm making this video more as a warning. It's a warning to Ben and all other left-wing extremists out there. A warning that they're supporting an ideology that is becoming more and more hated each day, and their suppression of crucial details and facts within news stories leads only to more polarization and tension within the country. Content like his and other left-wing news sources turns Twitter into a battlefield and their own comment sections into the trenches. Content like his has led to the radicalization and size increase in the far-right movements that spread the hate and sometimes even bigotry. This content like his, it leads to the widening of the gaps between the parties from a small crack to the size of the Grand Canyon. So my ultimate message for Ben, if you're watching, please stop. Philip DeFranco, you too, please stop. And anyone who is producing or writing for these large comedy or news outlets, please, for God's sake, stop leaving out the crucial details. Stop spreading disinformation and sympathizing with criminals. You can support an ideology while also criticizing it at the same time. Stop bringing every discussion back to race. Stop canceling people for old tweets. And finally, stop labeling people who don't support your ideology as one thing or another. But that's all for this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.